Me here, a friend of mine who just stepped into Ghana and he's been going around. So I want to ask him a few questions about his view about Ghana, the diaspora, Pan Africanism, and what he thinks about Pan Africanism. So I'll introduce him and then he'll take it from there. So maybe you can talk about yourself and then.
It's nice to meet you, brother. Thank you for having me. I've been in Ghana for 5 days. Actually, today is day 6. And my first couple of days was extremely frustrating because I was by Oxford Street, okay, in Osu. And after the 3rd day, I wanted to go back. Yeah, I said, I'm done. And the reason why was because I felt like I was getting hustled, which was the reason why I didn't come during the year of the return. I felt that the year of the return, the way it was rolled out, it seemed good, but in practice, everyone was talking about investment. And people have to understand that we as Black Americans and we as the diaspora are coming here primarily for a reconnection to our ancestral lineage. So when we're coming to make that connection, but then when I walk on the street and people are trying to charge me brony prices for everything, or looking at me as a walking wallet, it leads to a sort of frustration that I'm just like, you know what, I'm done. I'm gonna leave. I was gonna say, I'm gonna try to go to Nigeria or something, right? But once I got out of the tourist area, away from Oxford Street, and I started walking in the hood, walking in Bukom, walking in Osu, but away from the tourists, then I started to see the real Ghana. I started to see the real Ghanaian. The Ghanaian where I walk down the street and you just say hello, and it's a smile and it's a conversation. Where you from? I think Ghana's greatest asset are the people, for real. Because I'm not saying this because I'm here, but probably out of many people from many places that I've met, I think Ghanaians happen to be the most generally nice people that I've ever met.
So what's your? I saw a video of you and then. You're talking about Pan Africanism.
Yeah, which one? There's a couple.
There's a couple, but I think you spoke about. You said Pan Africanism is dead.
Right.
Yeah.
I said it's dead and stinking. Yeah. So if I show you the logo for my group 50 Deep, my flag is a Pan-African flag. And when I say Pan-African is dead, Pan-Africanism is dead and stinking, in practice it is. And I'm trying to revive it. Okay. I really want people to have a real sense of Pan-Africanism, but we have an uphill battle because of a couple of things. We have different ethnic groups. People know that as tribalism. And because the Ashanti had a beef with an Awe, and maybe this one had that, we don't talk to each other. And that's in one country. So now when you take Ghana, then you have Togo, Benin, and then Nigeria. And Nigeria, it's also separated. So how can we really talk about Pan-Africanism if the African on the continent won't even talk to each other? That's why I say it's dead. And the only way it's gonna work is if we take the positives of our different ethnic groups, our tribes, so to speak, and then have sort of an external customer service to our other Africans on the continent, our other Africans in the diaspora, or people of African descent. Once we have that and understand that once we start connecting, then we can make a change, then it's gonna be revived. But for now, it's dead. And I'm trying to pump life back into it with my group and other like-minded people.
Okay, so if you can tell us a bit about your group 50 Deep.
Okay.
Exactly what you do.
So 50 Deep is a group, it's a FUBU, for us, by us. It's 50 Black men who stand on the front lines to support the Black community. We don't accept help from the government, we don't accept help from non-Black allies. I think a non-Black ally's biggest strength is speaking to their people. So we are a self-sufficient group. Thank you, sis. We're a self-sufficient group, and we walk the walk and talk the talk. What the video I let you see was our back-to-school barbecue. We gave away 75 book bags full of school supplies, haircuts and braids for the kids to go back to school feeling fresh so that they're not being bullied. We gave out gift cards to buy shoes. We also have a tuition reimbursement program. So if a brother needs a training program, if he pays for it first and then comes back to us, we pay for that as well. So we are about protecting the community, providing for the community, and giving leadership to the community.
Okay, so this is just for the black community. Yeah?
That's it, black community.
Wow.
Because every ethnic group does that.
Oh, okay.
Everyone does that. So people say, oh, well, why are you not helping the white kids? Well, the white kids are in a different situation than our black kids in the diaspora. They need to see a positive black man, a positive role model, a bunch of brothers that are like you, very well put together, well spoken, because there's been too many negative examples where we come from of black men that are not doing anything, that are not working. So we're trying to change that hands-on.
Wow. So is it what's the size of your work? What weight are you? Work man strength. Like how many people are under that 50 deep?
Okay, under 50 deep, it's myself. I'm the founder. Then I have a second, third, and then two other brothers. So my second in command is General Baibure, and what we do is we go to certain places to stand up for our community when we're not providing for the community. And this is a direct response to anti-black racism in Europe, anti-black racism in America. If you notice, there's like a rise of the far right. And if they don't see black people standing up for themselves, we're always going to be the victim. So we say, okay, if you say you're going to come to the Belmer, that's a black part of Amsterdam, and terrorize our black women and our black children, you're going to have to deal with 50 black men dressed in all black, working in discipline, unity, and strength. That's not happening no more.
Wow. That's a great job you're doing.
Thanks, man.
Okay, so let's go back to Africa and
yes.
I want to talk about the year of return. I know you made some comments about it earlier.
Right.
But what is your view on the year of return? What do you think about
My year of the return, my view on it is I chose to come to Ghana after the year of return on purpose. I didn't want to come here during the year of return because everything that I heard about the year of the return was tied to financial investment, one-way investment into Africa. And that's not what the majority of us are coming for. We're coming initially for a reconnection to our ancestral lineage. Okay? So when we do that, we don't need to be, treated like walking wallets. Okay? Because the diaspora is not rich. We struggle in the diaspora. We struggle because we don't run resources just like in Africa. Most African countries don't control their own resources. We are slightly better ahead in terms of financial, but when we want to come back to Africa, it's a reconnection from a here standpoint, not a here standpoint. So I think that the year of the return would have been better if there was a year or a period of reconciliation, a period of reconnection before they just said, okay, come back, and one-way investment into Africa. You know what I said? I would have loved if the year of the return was set off by a couple of charter planes to Suriname, Jamaica, Cuba, or Brazil to invite some of the blacks and Africans outside of Ghana to come back to live. That would have really said, yo, they're really about bringing us together. But now it just seems like it's an investment thing, one-way investment into Africa, and we're not walking around. Everybody's not P. Diddy in the diaspora,
Alright, but when they spoke about for them to bring some people from Suriname, it's going to cost money. So don't you think it would be a good idea for them to say, alright, if you're going to bring people from Suriname and other countries, maybe we should kind of create a package so that even though we are bringing you, it's like we are still investing money from your side into the economy of Africa or something. Since Africa is home, you believe Africa is home, So when you want to invest money home?
Well, Africa is not my home. Africa is my ancestral homeland. My home is Brooklyn, New York. That's where I'm from. I'm not like many of these diasporans that come like, oh, I'm running away from racism and I'm tired of America, so I want to come home. Because what you're gonna do if you don't do your research coming to Africa, let's say Ghana, is you're gonna leave white racism for tribalism. Okay, and the diaspora doesn't have a tribe here, so inter-ethnic conflicts are very real. They're happening in Mali, they're happening in Burkina Faso, they're happening in Togo, they're happening on the border of Nigeria and Cameroon with the Amazonians. So the Black American comes here like, oh, I'm tired of racism. No, I'm not tired of racism. I will fight until I die. So I am a Black American who's a descendant of Africa. I'm of African descent. So this is not my home. I would love for it to be my home, but we have to have that reconnection period for me to consider this home.